It wouldn't stop them, especially with their powers, but Logan wasn't hoping for that. He had analyzed their leader Andre, and he was quite a smart man. Hopefully, his seeing Logan do these actions would suggest that something was up, knowing they didn't want to be followed. With his cautious nature, he would suggest that they first go back and hand over the students before returning. And Logan was right. "We should go after them," Lily suggested. She was genuinely concerned for the students' safety, especially since she was the only one that heard one of the students make a strange noise before everything had happened. She couldn't help but wonder if they were related. "No," Andre replied. "Couldn't you see it? The other student caused the tunnel to collapse on purpose. For whatever reason, they wanted to split up. For now, it's best if we leave that mystery unsolved and head back to the base. The students must be scared out of their minds after seeing what they have seen today." The group continued to walk through the tunnels while also instructing the students to look away from the dead bodies. Sia tried to stay strong, but continued to put her hand over her mouth and eyes as she caught glimpses of the bodies. But the others walked past them with more ease than she. Andre, seeing this, made a mental note. It was as if Vorden and Layla had seen before. The normal reaction to such a thing would be similar to what Sia had done. "Why do you think they ran off?" Layla asked Vorden. "If I was to guess, it would have something to do with Peter again. Logan wouldn't put his neck out on the line like that for no reason." "Do you think Logan will be okay? What if Peter gets hungry again and tries to eat Logan?" Vorden couldn't help but chuckle at Layla's suggestion. "Impossible. Trust me, by now you should have been able to tell. Logan is not the one to worry about if the two of them get into a fight. It's Peter." Although that might have been the case before, Logan had used up several of his trump cards in the fight against the King-tier beast. He was also a bit injured from the battle, and lastly, Quinn had grown stronger from the fight. That meant Peter had to as well. Both Quinn and Fex were excited. They watched the double doors open inward slowly. Throughout Fex's life, he had seen these doors placed not only in his castle, but in the other vampire leaders' castles as well. Every time Fex would ask about what was behind these doors, they would tell him it was none of his business. This, of course, made Fex want to know more about what was behind the doors, but everything he did, he could never find a way to open one of them, and eventually gave up. Once the doors were fully opened, several torches lit up inside the tower, as if leading the way for the two of them. "Come on, we have got to check this out," Fex said, already leading the way and walking forward onto the lit path. Quinn still possessed the blood crystal in his hand. To open the door, he had to insert the crystal inside, but when he took it out, he saw that the doors remained open. This was good for him since he wanted to put the crystal to some other use, maybe in a weapon or something. Placing it back into his system, he quickly followed after Fex, who was already quite a distance away. After a single step into the tower, the system had popped up with another message. "You have entered a vampire tomb. Quest, explore the tower is now in progress." A vampire tomb? As in a dead vampire's grave? Quinn thought. "System, did you know what this was?" "I had my guesses, but I couldn't be so sure," the system replied. "Remember, in my time, the only place we called home was Earth. I did not know about places outside of Earth. These are two things I should warn you about before you proceed. First, a vampire tomb doesn't necessarily mean a vampire is. A vampire can choose to go into eternal slumber, which is similar to death, but not the same. If they are in quite a high position or of importance to people, one of these towers will be created for them. Eternal slumber means a vampire has chosen to go to sleep forever themselves. It's a permanent state, and there is only one way to be woken up from it, by consuming the blood of someone of the same family. They do not need to be related by blood, but only contain the same blood. An example of this is, if you were to go into eternal slumber, then Peter would be able to wake you up with his blood, as he is part of your family, but Fex's blood would be useless. "Are there usually guards in these types of places?" Quinn asked, still worried they might encounter something. "Usually, I would say not. Could you imagine asking someone to look over such a place, and for how long? They could be in the tower for a very long time. I would be bored out of my mind staying in such a dull place. My guess is two things. Either the vampire was a powerful one, and his magic was so great he was able to convince the king-tier beast to act as a guard. To keep it under its control for so long, it handed the blood crystal which you obtained after defeating the beast. My second guess would be that after the beast found the blood crystal, it was compelled to this area. Something was telling it that there was something powerful inside and it didn't know how to use it. At the same time, it couldn't leave this place due to its curiosity of power. Both things sounded possible. What Quinn didn't want it to be was some ancient powerful vampire that had decided to go to sleep on another planet somewhere. At least there was no chance for Quinn to wake it up. He was human, and he was his family member. His blood couldn't be used to wake up any vampires. With this, Quinn decided to carry on forward. If this was a grave, then maybe just like pharaohs did in the past, they would bury themselves with their treasures. Excited by this prospect, he started to jog after Fex, who had gone quite a way ahead. After they both followed the torches down the path, it eventually led them to a large staircase leading upward. "If these stairs lead to the top, then it's going to be a painful walk," Fex said. They had no choice but to climb. It wasn't as hard as Quinn initially thought. The stairs were many, and if it was Quinn before he had turned into a vampire, he would have had to take several breaks. The two of them powered through the many stairs and didn't feel very tired. However, they did feel like the stairs would go on forever and were wondering when they would end. Finally, the stairs had leveled out onto a platform, and another large door could be seen. It was the same size as the one at the entrance, only this one didn't have a strange lock-like mechanism. Up ahead after the platform were even more stairs leading up, suggesting they hadn't reached the top yet. "Maybe we should check it out before we continue going up," Quinn suggested. "Wouldn't want to miss out on anything." "Agreed," Fex replied. With a strong push, the doors opened. They were heavy, but with the two of them, they were able to swing the door open. Just like when they opened the door below, torches around the room suddenly lit up. Instead of lighting up a path, this time the whole room was lit up. It was a fairly large square room, but at the same time it was completely bare. There was nothing inside the room apart from 5 podiums in the center of the room. Each podium had an item on it. They were pieces of armor, a chest piece, a leg piece, an arm piece, and a helmet. Lastly, on the final podium was a ring. The armor had a strange medieval design to it and didn't look like any of the beast gear Quinn had ever seen. It looked almost like knightly armor, only with points and such at the end in red. If dragons existed, this is what Quinn would imagine armor being made from a red dragon would look like. "I can't believe it," Fex said. "This is ancient old vampire combat armor. I've only seen these things in books. Not even our castle has a set like this." Fex slowly walked over to the items, afraid that there might be traps around the room. While heading over to the podium, he carefully placed each foot, but found no such thing. The first podium he arrived at wasn't any of the pieces of armor. Instead, it was the ring.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.